Tell us what you see. Are there any balloons down there? Yes, balloons approaching, and a lot of them. It seems like they're an ambush. All Lucifer's reinforcements waiting for us to arrive. We can't land here. It's too unsafe. Pull me up! Taking the support Chinooks here was a smart move, but it's not very smart if we can't land anywhere. What about on top of the castle? We have enough space for all of our enforcements there. Excellent idea. Start deploying them immediately. We'll wait for the balloons to come to us. Welcome to the first episode of Lucifer's Sanctum Continued, the series that was started by Macan Rules, where he tried to beat every expert map on easy mode. He got through 6 of them before ultimately dropping the series. In this series, I continue Lucifer's Sanctum with the lore and everything else, where I beat the remaining 6 expert maps. Last video we did Glacial Trail, and now we are on Dark Castle, commonly referred to as the easiest expert map on Chimps due to the wide amount of buildable space, low blockage, and with all the tracks funneling into one, it makes your defense very easy to hit all the balloons, which you can't do on most expert maps at once. However, in this challenge I decided to limit myself to only using the castle. This means that I have a lot less space to work with and no natural water, so if I want to get the Submarine and Navarch of the Sea Paragons, I'm going to have to use the Lord of the Abyss to place down the water so that I can actually put down water towers there. Since I don't have a lot of buildable space, I'm going to have to be smart with my defense and know exactly where I have to place all of my towers, especially my Paragons. Even though the challenge is on Dark Castle, which is the easiest expert map, using only the castle is deceptively difficult. I have to prioritize defending over everything else, since I have lost a lot of attempts on this map in the first 50 rounds, simply because I leaked too many lives. So as you can see, I've upgraded my Dart Monkey to a tier 3 Spiker Pole so that I will be able to defend much more easily, stunting my farming in the early game, but this is fine since it's only by a few rounds, and I will get a full farming setup eventually. From my previous attempts that died early in this challenge, I learned that the best move, or the safest move at least, was to upgrade my Spiker Pole into a Juggernaut. This is because the knockback that the Juggernaut provides is incredibly useful, and will be a staple of my defense for the first 50 rounds, at least until I get my Triple XL trap. That is the way I'm going to be farming Pops my Engineer Paragon. However, it's going to be the Spike Paragon that I get first, since once again, I've done a few attempts and defending early is difficult. I'm going to need that last line of defense early so that it can build up spikes and then just be that safety net to catch all the leaking balloons. By round 32 I have a Trap Engineer with another one on the way, a base Monkeyopolis, and another banana farm. If you're wondering why I sound so tired, it's because I spent all day drawing those pictures at the beginning and one at the end. Oh my days, I have so much more respect for animators. It must take them months to make videos. Oh my lord, you have no idea. Anyway, moving on, that's partially why I'm so tired. But yes, I'm going to have 3 Trap Engineers because 2 is not enough, and I learned that the hard way. I also got comments on my Glacial Trail video saying that I should both do and don't do the lore from different people, and I decided that I will do the lore, but for the people who don't want to watch it, just skip ahead a minute. It's really not that difficult. Oh well, yes, we beat round 40, which means that we are well on track to actually having a successful attempt, because 8 of my attempts died before round 40. I had 2 make it past this point, and the first one was sad. Now, as you can see, I'm getting down overclock for my BRF, because overclock BRF is incredibly efficient, especially when it's under the influence of the Monkeyopolis, since the BRF makes more money and the Engineer costs less. Using the BRF overclock combo under the Monkeyopolis is actually something that you'll see me do a lot from now on in all future videos, because it's just that good. I also kind of want to get into bossing, so you can consider this my training, kind of. Not really, but, well, I'm farming, I guess. And now I have a Triple XL trap and $50,000 at round 51. So far, this is looking great. If I sold all my defense now, I could get a Dark Paragon, but that would be the dumbest decision I could possibly make, so I'll just keep on farming for now. until round 58, where I decide to sell all of my BRFs and re-get them down in the optimal placement so that I can buy the biggest Monkey Obelisk possible with a combination of the Desperado and Overclock. Now the Overclock ability buff on Villagers got nerfed in Update 50, however the Desperado ability on Villagers greatly overshadows this nerf. The combo of Desperado and nerfed Overclock is way better than normal Overclock ever would be. So now I have a 6 farm Monkey Obelisk, which is pretty strong, with plans to get a Banana Central, a bunch of BRFs, and a Monkey Wall Street, plus potentially a Monkeynomics, because Monkeynomics is now one of my favorite towers. It is incredibly strong, especially with stalling strategies, except I don't really utilize these here. But now I have all my banana farms down that I can fit in a spike factory to farm pops for the Paragon. So what am I going to fill the rest of my space with? Sniper farms. You see, sniper farms are actually quite strong, especially when paired with the Energizer, which is a 20% ability cooldown reduction. And since the snipers are in a cooldown ability, it is very useful here. Snipers, for their price and size, are actually very good, considering that they repay themselves off in like 3 abilities if you sell them. That's including the tier 4 and 5. I'm pretty sure the tier 5 it's 2 abilities. Very strong. Also, the Elite Sniper is the cheapest tier 5 in the game, which is very interesting. It is now cheaper than the Ultra Juggernaut. Why? It's too powerful. This is the farming setup that I'm going to be rocking for quite a while. Since I plan to get 9 of the 10 Paragons, excluding a dart because the dart sucks on this map, I need at least $12 million because I also want the VTSG, a Temple, and a few other tier 5s and 4s because they're just so useful for damage. Now I am also going to want some leftover money for a Zealy resell because that is just incredibly strong. However, with some weird bugs with the Zealy's ability, for some reason when you resell it and you target it on strong, it targets it on close or first or sometimes not even on strong. So it's a weird ability, which I hope Ninja Kiwi fixes in the next update. Please watch this video, Ninja Kiwi. Thank you very much. I need the views. All the money. I have $2 million. What the fuck? It is rounds like 119 that make me appreciate how insanely strong the Supermines is when it's given attack speed buffs. Because look at this. It has barely any spikes on the field, and it just completely mows through 100,000 health of the round 119 bad. Look at this. It's so strong! Ninja Kiwi, never nerf this tower, please. I want it to stay strong forever. It's so broken. I'm just wasting time. I probably need to get this video up and done already. I am tired. I want to draw your attention to round 138 because that is the first and only round during this challenge where I actually die. Now see, here's the thing. Using Continue is risky because it gives you 200 lives, it resets your ability cooldowns, and it gives you several $1,000s. I believe it's 5,000. So here with the lives it doesn't actually matter because I'm going from 1,000 to 200, which is actually a nerf. This means I can't leak as many things. And for cash, it's very simple. I just buy and resell some towers a few times to lose some money, and now I'm basically back to where I started. However, for abilities, it's different. Now, I looked at the abilities and I knew that my Ultra Boost and Overclocks were very close to being off cooldown, however my 2 farming abilities were not. I don't think I used those for 3 rounds. I made absolutely sure that they would be off cooldown in a real game if I had not died. I decided to get Icicle Impale and use my Ultra Boost on it because I hate DDTs, they are so annoying. They are very fast and they just slip right through my defense. Round 138, I despise you. But eventually, once my Spike Mines actually gets down at spikes, it just automatically wins because DDTs are no match for the Super Mines. Round 151, I get down my Degree 81 Mega Massive Munitions Factory, as well as some of the other towers that I'm going to get pops for the Paragons for, including the Wizard, Boomerang, and Ninja. Now, the Wizard and Boomerang gain pops quite slowly and there's no really easy way to get them, unless I go for them first and they take all the pops in the early rounds. So, a band-aid solution to this is to get them before my fast-getting pops Paragons, and then just get the fast-getting pops Paragon ones later, mostly because they're faster getting pops with the Paragons. The next 4 Paragons I get in order is a Engineer on round 168, the Ninja on round 195, the Boomerang on round 200, or at least after I kick the crap out of the bads on 200, And finally the ace on 227, and I'm also using this round 227 to prepare to get my VTSG. But before I get my bonk TSG, I get down around 235 degree 80 Megas Perfectus, which has been building up pops for like 200 rounds. You are so slow. Just before around 250 starts, I get down Paragon number 7. I forgot the name of it, I can't believe it. Crucible of Steel and Flame, there we go. I definitely do not have dementia. So now that's all of my Landlubber Paragons gotten down, and next is my Water Paragons. Now I want to get my VTSG first before I do that, because if I sacrifice my Lord of the Abyss with my High Degree Paragons, that's going to be a big problem. So I have to get my VTSG, then my final 2 Paragons, then the rest of my setup, in that order. And now it's time to get my VTSG. What I'm doing here is I'm going to be Shunoking a Glue Gunner and a Desperado right next to the Sun Avatar, so that when all the towers around the Sun Avatar get sacrificed, the Glue and the Desperado will be placed onto the now Temple's hitbox, which normally shouldn't happen. As you can see here, I had to make the TSG very early, or very quick rather, but now I have the 2 towers within the hitbox plus the VTSG. This is what most high-level runs will do on full map runs. What you'll see is like they Shunnock towers into every single temple, which sounds exhausting, and from experience it is. But now I have the VTSG, I can start buffing it and placing down the rest of my towers and my Paragons. To more accurately place down my towers, or better yet, just to see what the hell I'm doing, I decide to turn on small towers for about 10 rounds, so get used to seeing this for about the next 30 seconds. I'm getting down what's going to be a Megalodon, because Megalodon does actually do pretty good damage when max buffed. Yell at me all you want, Jackalip, I am keeping this here for round 300. I'm also going to do the Chinook trick again with the support Sun Temple, except this time it's only going to be 1 tower and it's going to be the MAD. And the MAD is actually pretty good, shockingly. Who knew that Moab Ashore Destroyer did good DPS? 10 rounds later, on 266, I get my second last Paragon, the degree 80 Navar God Disease, and now we only have the sub Paragon left. And I know people are going to yell at me, Brozio, you don't need to get a Paragon for every 20 degrees, because every 20 degrees does extra damage only to boss balloons. It doesn't do extra damage overall. Yes, I know. I just don't care. I like the degree 20s. It's clean, simple, efficient. We used to prune the timelines, and now I'm doing a Loki reference. Oh, that was a good joke, you should definitely subscribe. Anyway, jumping forward to the early to mid 280s, 283 to be precise. Is that early or mid? Who knows. I have a degree 1 sub-submerged, because lower ability cooldowns for all, I guess. Unfortunately, my Wizard and my Spike aren't within its range, so they won't get the 10% cooldown reduction, which is a shame, but it's fine, who cares, it's all sand in the wind anyway. I also have a degree 20 Azili, max buff to VTSG, 2 of the Dartling guns excluding the Ray of Doom because the rod sucks. I have a fully powered Megalodon, a Flying Fortress because it's worth the Paragon of Power that the Ace gets. I also have some Desperados for range, overclocks to buff my towers, all the debuffs, all the snipers, a Balloon Crush to stall, and finally, a Call to Arms so that in the future, if I have to, I can micro the Homeland defense. The rest of the rounds aren't way too difficult, except for 294, which gives me a bit of a jump scare, because one of the DDTs very, very close to getting through there. You didn't see it, but I did. I was staring at that DDT as it just waltzed right by my spot file, but I do eventually get it. Now, there were 3 spaced out fortified bads, but my Azili was on cooldown and my Navok was also on cooldown, so I had to deal with it manually. My Spike Factory Paragon carried this run in the end, because the Spike Pile at the end plus his abilities just did so much damage. And there we go, the victory screen on round 300, where I decided not to continue. And thus, this mission has been completed, with the next map being Dark Dungeons. It's so dark in there, I can't even see anything. Well, this is our destination now. There's no turning back from here. Lucifer awaits inside.